For gatefolteisteach a cóide seo Fiona Crowe ó ExamRevision.ie. And in this quick video today, I'm going to talk you through what to expect in your 2021 paper for Gaeilge Ord Level. So firstly, I suppose an advantage for you is the fact that you have your Irish orals completed since the Easter holidays. As you're well aware, the Irish oral is worth 40% of your coursework. Those were recorded by your own teachers and they are currently being completed and corrected by examiners for the SEC. So in June, however, you can expect a modified paper during your exams. So firstly, look at your timetable. Pápéir Hain Ord Level will take place on Monday the 14th from 2 p.m. to 4:20. And Gaeilge Ord Level Pápéir Dó will take place on Tuesday the 15th from 9:30 to 11:50. So just to note firstly that Pápéir Hain has not in actual fact been modified, okay? The changes more so occur in paper 2. So paper 1 is comprised of 2 components. Firstly, the Cluas Tishkent, which is still worth 60 marks. This takes about 20 minutes to complete, followed by the Ceapa Dúirt, the writing component of the paper. And typically for the majority of students, that's going to entail writing either an aiste, an essay, or diasporic, a debate. And that you are afforded 2 hours for the completion of that task. So at the moment, I'd be expecting my own leaving certs would be revising the following topics: Timpelucht or environment, Buchtness, Nudina Gondiden, homelessness or poverty, sport, Chorus Slánta, the health system, the course Dachish, educational system, druggy, 5 na cruelta, the problem of crime, Gaeilge, 5 internaisiúnta, beidir rud éigean faoi COVID, agus an pandéim, perhaps something about COVID and the pandemic, and technology. So that's paper 1. And it's paper 2 is where we see the majority of changes. So you were still afforded 3 hours and 5 minutes to complete paper 2. And thankfully this year it looks like you've been under a lot less pressure in terms of time management. So firstly, the biggest change is in Ceiste Verhain. Typically, students had to complete 2 leibhishigans A and B. This year, there is a choice between either A or B. So the format will be the same. The content and questions will be similar to what you've seen before, but you have a choice between A and B. So certainly, if you can afford yourself some time at the start of the exam, skim read through leibhishigand A and B, see which one you find most manageable, and follow that. Pay particular attention to Ceis 6A and 6B and which one of those is most doable for you. Typically, students would have answered a question then on prose and poetry, but this year, crucially, there's a choice between Ceist 2 agus Ceist 3. So you now have to choose on the paper whether you want to answer on prose, paper 2, or Filiocht, paper 3. So make sure for the examiner that you really are identifying to them your choice. In capital letters, Ceist 2, no Ceist 3. And within those questions, there's further choice this year. So for prose, you'll get a choice of 2 of the stories. Or if you're doing the poetry question, you'll have a choice of 2 poems. And of course, those poems will be printed for you on the paper. It's still worth 30 marks, however you answer on either prose or poetry. And finally, your Líochtríoch Bhreise question is still worth 40 marks. And that's typically your an trial or your Hignal Titrum. There will be no choice on those questions this year. It'll be as straightforward as normal. On one little thing to point out to people during the exams is in regards to the poetry or the prose that you're going to answer on, make sure you're sticking to this term here, prose anmanha, no prose or filiocht anmanha. So that means you were answering on the prescribed texts and poems on the course. Prose Rounach and Filiocht Rounach is only for students in the minority that have chosen with their school alternative text to the course. So make sure whatever you choose, it's prose amnaha, new prose, or new Filiocht amnaha. Okay, so Ganairi Gagalov in the very best of luck in your exams. Ganairi Elif.